What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and we are here with some breaking news regarding our Champions League squad. As you can see with the title, Mathys Tel has been withdrawn from the Champions League squad, according to Loic Tanzi of L'Equipe, and reinstated Dominic Solanke ahead of the game against Borussia Dortmund, going into the final two games of the group stage against Dortmund and Frankfurt. I think this is an absolute ridiculous decision. I'm not sure. I can't fathom why and how this has happened. Mathys Tel has been our best attacker in recent weeks. He's a player that can play off the left. He can play up front as well. Dom Solanke, he played in the last half an hour of the West Ham game and looked incredibly lacking match fitness, match sharpness, and he just looked generally rusty. I just don't understand it. I do not understand it. And we know Tel, frustrations have been growing at Tottenham so far this season with his lack of game time. Obviously, that's increased in recent weeks. He got omitted from the Champions League squad at the earlier stage of the season, and now he's been our best attacker. And at this point, Frank decides to withdraw him from the squad. I think it's an absolute disgraceful decision. And you know what? If I'm Mathys Tel right now, I'm on the phone to my agent being like, they clearly do not value me here. Get me out of this club. Find me a loan move. Find me a transfer. Because what more can he do? What more can Mathys Tel do at this point in time? The last 3 games, he's been one of our better players. Against West Ham, he was probably our best attacker and gets taken off with half an hour to go, which was a disgraceful decision in itself. And now this is just crazy. It's madness. I'm actually fuming with this decision. I can't believe Frank has done this. And you know what? The clubs, you kind of reap what you sow, you know. Frank should have been gone before being able to even make this decision. And he's still here. He's made this decision. And Solanke ain't even fit. He's not even fit. And the group stage finishes next week. It makes no sense to make this decision at this point in time.
It's a parting gift from Thomas Frank. One more FU before hopefully he leaves his job. What is he thinking? What is he thinking when Mathys Tel is our most informed attacker? He's the one who looks most likely to make something happen. He's played the last few games off the left-hand side, coming into the team. He's looking confident. He's looking like he's making stuff happen. He scored a nice goal against Bournemouth. He's the one in that front line who's looking the most exciting at the moment. And in a big game, we've got Dortmund coming up tomorrow. We've got Frankfurt in the final game. Solanke has come back off a 6-month injury. He's played a couple of one 15-minute appearance, one 30-minute appearance. He clearly, after the West Ham game, during the West Ham game, was just not match fit. You could see that. There was a moment when Mawani plays a through ball to him. He just didn't have the legs to run onto it. He just couldn't keep pace with the West Ham centre-backs. It's because he just isn't fully fit at the moment. And he only was fit enough to play half an hour. He's going to now have to start the game tomorrow. So I don't understand the thinking. That means we're basically planning to maybe play him for an hour, because we can't. Can he play much more than that? Can he even play fully fit for an hour? He's going to have to start, which means Dane Scarlett's now definitely going to have to come on at a certain point in the game if we're going to take Solanke off. We don't really have another option out wide. Tel at least has a bit of flexibility. He can play, as you say, on the left. He's been playing quite well. He can fill in up front if need be as well. He's looking confident. I just think the treatment of Mathys Tel this season has been nothing short of a disgrace. Thomas Frank has got something against him. He's been holding him back the whole season, even during periods in the season. October time, he was getting minutes here and there. He was coming off the bench against the likes of Man United. He was scoring goals against Leeds. And yet Thomas Frank was still very reluctant to use him, very reluctant to give him minutes, and outside of 5-minute cameos at the end of games. He didn't include him, as you say, in the Champions League squad at the beginning of the season, despite the fact that Dominic Solanke was heavily struggling with these ankle issues. Obviously, we decided to sign him permanently. I'm assuming with the promise that he's going to get regular game time. He's going to be a big part of the squad, and he's been anything but. He finally works his way into the team after months and months of, doing his best with the very little game time that he's given with Thomas Frank. And now, after he finally gets a good run of form, he finally is starting to show what he's worth for this club and for this team. He gets yanked out the Champions League squad, not for anyone who's worth it at the moment, but for a player who's been missing for 6 months, who can only play at the moment half an hour in games and is not match fit. It's absolutely a diabolical decision. It makes zero sense. I don't understand what Thomas Frank's thinking is here. Solanke is going to be a slow process to get him back to his best. It's probably not. It's not going to be for a few weeks. Why make this decision now when we've got 2 games left of the Champions League group stage to try and get ourselves in the top 8? He takes Mathys Tel out of the squad. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you're gonna try and want to give Solanke game time, give it to him in the Premier League, and just allow Mathys Tel to have these Champions League games because he deserves it because he's playing well. He clearly has something against him. There's something going on there between him and Thomas Frank. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if there's been any disrespect from him behind the scenes. We know Mathys Tel had the hump a bit after being taken off against West Ham with half an hour to go. On Saturday, he didn't look happy. Has there been something said behind closed doors? I don't really know, but all I do know is Thomas Frank doesn't fancy him and doesn't value him. And I think Mathys Tel has absolutely every right to be very frustrated with the current situation. As long as Thomas Frank is here, and if I'm Mathys Tel, I'm looking for the exit.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't put it better myself. Like, we now have one fit winger in our squad for these next 2 Champions League games. Kudus is out. We've got Odebear, and that's it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shoehorn Randall Colomani once again in that left wing position where he doesn't look right. It's not his best position. He doesn't even look good in the number 9, never mind on the left wing. So that's what we're going to have to persist with these next 2 Champions League games, and playing an unfit Dominic Solanke up front with Dane Scarlett getting some minutes here and there as well. So it's disgraceful, man. I just can't believe he's done this.
We are on our knees at the moment with injuries, right? We have a squad absolutely decimated with injury. That's a fact. We have potentially 14 to 15 players out injured for tomorrow's game. We need every ounce of energy we can muster from this team to even think about getting a result right now. And the fact that he thinks relying on Dominic Solanke right now to give that energy and give every inch of himself over Mathys Tel, who's fully fit and in form, when Solanke's just come back off a 6-month injury and is not match fit, is absolute insanity. What is he thinking? We're going to need more from these players than usual, and to think that Solanke is more ready to give that right now than Mathys Tel doesn't make sense. Now, I know we don't obviously know what's going on behind the scenes fitness-wise. Maybe Solanke's ready to start. Maybe he's ready to play 90 minutes. Maybe he's made an incredible recovery. Maybe his return has really accelerated. We're not in the medical room. We're not in the training ground. We can only go off what we see. And what we did see on Saturday was Solanke come on for half an hour and look incredibly rusty, completely off the pace, and nowhere near ready to start games. But that's what we saw.
But Sim, let's be honest here. Even if Solanke is ready to play, and he does have that fitness, which I find very hard to believe, by the way, even if that is the situation, it's still a disgrace because we don't have wingers. Odebear is our only fit winger. How does it make sense even if he is fit?
I agree. It makes even less sense from that point of view. Like, I don't understand the thinking here. Mawani has been poor, really poor. So to shoehorn him on the left,
particularly on the left as well,
Mathys Tel is ridiculous. Mathys Tel is the one thing that seems to be working a bit over the last 3 games. If I'm looking at positives, the very small positives we can take over these last few games where we've been losing and playing absolute crap, one of the few positives is Mathys Tel. He's one of the few, and we've taken one of the very few, the crumbs of positivity we've been taking for the last few games. We're even taken out of the team. It's like he's determined to take out any sort of good feeling and goodwill that we've got in this team in the short term. It's absolutely baffling to me. It's absolutely mind-boggling that he made the decision. We heard the report earlier today that Frank has an opportunity to replace Tel with Solanke because Solanke is now returning, but he has to make a decision by tonight. And we were thinking, okay, he's got the decision, but he ain't going to do it because
saying it's an easy one to make. It's an easy one to make. Keep telling the squad.
Keep telling the squad, and it gives you more flexibility. He can play up front as well. So the fact that he's made this decision, I would love to hear him justify it in his press conference. I'd love to hear what he's got to say.
Well, we're going to hear it.
I don't understand what the thinking is. I don't understand what the justification is. So in my mind, whatever way you slice it, there's not really a justification in the short term. You want to do it in February or whatever after the group stages are finished, and maybe Solanke's fully fit, and maybe we need that starting number 9 and he's ready to start games and look ready. okay, maybe there's a reason there. But right now, in the situation we're in, with the injury crisis we're in, with the lack of numbers we have, with the lack of wingers we have, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's pathetic. It really is pathetic, this decision. And Thomas Frank really didn't need more sticks to get beaten with going into the game tomorrow. And he's just given himself another one. He really has. And what a pathetic decision it is from the manager. And what I would say to Mathys Tel is that, look, don't worry too much, because the manager ain't going to be here for that much longer. So you'll have your chance to prove your worth to another manager pretty soon, whether it be an interim manager or a full-time manager, I don't know. But, you know, it could be a few similarities, could be drawn maybe to the Kobbie Mainoo situation with Ruben Amorim. You know, Amorim clearly just didn't fancy him, and now Amorim's gone, starting lineup, putting a great performance against Manchester City.
Yeah, and I have to say about Tel, I really admire how he's conducted himself this season. He just kept his head down. He's tried to take every opportunity that comes his way. All he's done is work hard, do the best he can with the very limited minutes. And
proper professional, yeah.
Very professional. He's never once publicly said anything. I know there's been reports about him looking for a loan move, but I don't blame him. I think he's done everything he can he's doing his part. And I actually think he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's been kind of attacking this in a very mature way.
Yeah.
And I think that goes to show his mentality. And I think this is going to be a very good player. This is a 20-year-old. I think other players in his position, especially coming from a big club who have been promised game time, big money move to a club where he's come here because he's been given assurances that he's going to be a big part of the team and he's going to be given game time. I think he's dealt this in a very mature way. And I just wish that we had a manager who really believed in him and really trusted him. And at the moment, it just doesn't seem to be the case.
But, like, what is Thomas Frank watching on the pitch? It's like he's so averse from attacking. Like, he's even taking our best attacking players out of the squad now. It's actually crazy.
Tel can't do long throws. So
it's madness what we're seeing.
And also, he's our best corner taker.
Yeah, and by far.
By far. His corners have been brilliant in the last few games, and just on the bare face of it, that's our best way of attacking at the moment, is scoring from corners and scoring from set pieces. Tel is our best avenue from that. In fact, he's taken Porro off corners. Porro was our corner taker, and Tel has been so good, he's taken him off corners, and now we don't even have that anymore. It is I didn't even think about that before. He's been brilliant on corners. He's been taking them from both sides. Like, he's been fantastic from that as well, and we're even losing that now, which is our main method of scoring goals.
Yeah, look,
Get this manager out of my club, man.
It's completely madness. Like, he is just making a rod for his own back. I don't understand how he's still manager. I don't understand how he was able to make this decision anyway. He should have been gone before being given the choice to do so. But yeah, look, if the unthinkable happens and Thomas Frank is still our manager going into the latter week of the window, the last week of the transfer window, if I'm Mathys, I'm doing everything I can to get out. I really am, because the manager just clearly has no faith in him whatsoever, and I don't understand how that is even a possibility when he's comparing him to unfit Dominic Solanke, a Randall Kolo Muani who can't hit a barn door for love nor money, who looks awful on the left-hand side as well as the number 9 position. And on top of that, we have no fit wingers at all in the squad apart from Wilson Odebear. Nothing about this decision makes sense whatsoever. And he's got a lot to answer for in this press conference, which is coming up very, very soon. So
there has been an update here by Ornstein about a Tottenham executive, Rebecca Kappelhorn, who has left and joined the Premier League.
Yeah, so she was one of Enoch's trusted people
for 10 years.
Yeah,
and that's just been broken by David Ornstein. Rebecca Kappelhorn, Tottenham Hotspur's head of administration and football governance, will join the Premier League as its chief football officer after she leaves the club at the end of the transfer window.
Good. The more of these people we can get out of the club, the better. That's what I say.
Sources close to the club, speaking on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorised to do so publicly, said Kappelhorn's departure was her own decision.
Good, get her gone.
Start date for Kappelhorn, who replaces the outgoing Tony Scholes, has not yet been confirmed. She joined Tottenham in 2015. She was promoted to her existing role in 2020 after former executive Daniel Levy carried out a reshuffle of the club's senior management positions. Her remit has included all football governance at the club, representing Spurs within the European Football Club, and being involved in transfer and contract negotiations. So it looks like maybe Rafa is maybe... Fabio, one of Tottenham's co-sport directors, alongside Yang, will also leave the club at the end of the window, returning to Italy. Spurs also recently announced Carlos Mawson to the newly created role of Director of Football Operations due to the position prior to the summer window. So anyway, that is some breaking news there.
Yeah, more rejigging of the club hierarchy there, but yeah, she was one of Daniel Levy's trusted people in the boardroom. So the more kind of people like that we get out the club, the better, in my opinion. But it's hard to have too much of an opinion on it. Just an executive person.
Is it her own decision? Is she abandoning a sinking ship?
Very well could be a sinking ship that she was very much a part of.
Yeah, but she's jumping board.
Well, like I said, the more people like that we get out of the club, the better, in my opinion. And also something worth noting as well is that Tottenham have confirmed that Ben Davies will undergo surgery for a fracture of his left ankle. And obviously they wish Ben the best in his rehabilitation, and they're all behind him, and so are we, obviously. But it looks like he's probably played his last game for Tottenham Hotspur, which is a sad way to end, but we commend him for the service that he has given the club for the last 11 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully a speedy recovery for Ben. Probably he's played his last game for the club, but we wish him all the best. And look, maybe come the end of the season, maybe go an outside shot of playing 1 or 2 games, but it looks like his time at Tottenham is done here on the pitch anyway. Could he come back as a coach? He's doing his coaching badges. Who knows? Down the line, maybe we haven't seen the last of him.
Yeah.
But I think as a player, we probably have, so wish him all the best.
Yeah, I'd like to see him back as a coach, but I still think he's got more to give as a footballer away from Tottenham Hotspur. So, yeah, good luck with the surgery, and we hope that you do have a speedy recovery, and let's hope Wales can make the World Cup and he can play a part in it. But that is the main breaking news, obviously. Mathys Tel out of the Champions League squad to make way for Dominic Solanke.
Apparently the rule says we are forced to do this.
Forced?
Once the injured or ill outfield player is fit to be fielded again, he becomes eligible and/or can resume his position in place of his substitute, who must subsequently be removed from the list.
Well, the reasoning is that if you make the decision, it has to be in place of that player, but it doesn't mean you have to make that decision.
If I guess, yeah, that wording tells me if Solanke comes back in, it has to be Tel who exits.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's what it says to me. It doesn't say you have to make the call, but if you want to bring Solanke in, it has to be for Mathys Tel.
It's fit. It's a bit weird. I don't know if it's forced or not. From Ali Gold's understanding early, he posted a report saying there's a decision to make. So that would tell me obviously it's not guaranteed, it's not forced. But the wording of that is a bit funny. Anyway, that's someone making the point that maybe it's forced. I don't know.
It's not forced. It's
I
not
don't
forced.
think it is.
It's if you want to bring Solanke in, it has to be for Mathys Tel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's telling you. But you don't have to make that call.
Which I wouldn't.
Which he has done, which is crazy. But look, that is the situation regarding Mathys Tel and Dominic Solanke. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.